what does it mean to make your own justice? So in 13 Reasons Why, we saw how Clay went to Tyler's window, and even though all the other kids have been instructed to take their shot, meaning throw a rock at his bedroom window, Clay took a different kind of shot. He took a picture, an unflattering picture of Tyler, and then sent it around the school. And when Tony wrote back going, dude, like, what are you doing? Clay responds, I'm making my own justice. Was that right? Was it wrong? How does bullying perpetuate? And should we get involved in that or not? I think it's a situation by situation conversation on how to handle it. And so it's difficult to say over one YouTube video what the best solution is. But I will say this. If we're all making our own justice, is there justice? Like, we have this sense of right and wrong, but sometimes it's filtered on what was right and wrong based on how I was treated or in my situation. Is justice really us just going around and making sure that us and our friends feel better? Or is there a concrete sense of truth, of justice, of what is and is not right and acceptable? So I talk about some of that in a different video called What is Truth, but let's sit here for a second. Do we get involved by making our own justice? You see, in the characterization between Clay and some of the other kids on 13 Reasons Why, you almost see this progression where Clay brings this sense of accountability to others, going, this is what it felt like to be Hannah, now you're going to feel the same. And I don't know if that's right. I think it's good to empathize with others. I think it's really good to understand where somebody else is coming from, to enter into some of their emotions. Can be healthy. Sometimes it can be really damaging, but it's great to be a good friend and be able to be where somebody else is, and to kind of walk through life with them. That can be a great thing. It can strengthen a lot of relationships. But when we force other people to feel what we're feeling, or we force other people to feel what our friends or family members were feeling, there's something a little bit off in that. Now, I get it, because I think in our head we have this idea of, if they could just understand what it felt like to be me, then they would choose differently. But the truth is, sometimes people don't care either way. They just want to do what they're going to do, and they are not going to care. And so even if we can make them emotionally identify with this, oh well, because they're acting selfishly, and because they're in a it's all about me world. And those people exist. A lot of them exist. Sometimes we have that same tendency. Maybe that's not our everyday character, our everyday personality, but we all slip into that at different times, where we're like, you know what? Can't handle anybody else. This one's about me, and whatever. But does it mean that we shouldn't care about other people's stories? No, we should. But when we force other people to, I don't know if it always turns out the way we want. You see, some of the best relationships that I've been in life are the ones where we actually look out for one another, where sometimes you got to sacrifice on behalf of the other person, and you've got to put them ahead of you. I've had to do that for other people, but I find that actually brings me closer to them, and it makes our friendship or our relationship stronger. That's what we're all looking for in life, is those people who willingly enter into our stories and willingly are there with us. Those are the people that matter. But making our own justice to make other people feel the way that we feel, sometimes I think that just makes us ugly. I get why we do it, but I think it makes us, it negatively affects us more than we want to realize or recognize. It makes us something that we're mad at someone else for being. You know, like in the TV show, we saw how Clay did these things, and he kind of became the bully, even though he was out there fighting Hannah's bullies. And that's super confusing. I think that's how the cycle of bullying exists, and it just keeps happening, because we're all trying to make our own justice. What if justice wasn't based on how you're treated, how your friends are treated? What if there was a set standard of what is right and wrong? Now, for those of you who have been bullied or who have been treated wrong, who have been treated horrifically, I'm not talking about just letting things go and letting there be no consequences. There should be consequences if someone has hurt you, has harmed you. Just make sure that you're pursuing how to get that justice the right way. I don't want you guys to be more and more frustrated because you're trying to make your justice and you end up becoming something you don't want to be.